What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I wanted to throw the hat into the arena yet again with another more spicy, divisive topic. I actually came back-to-back from recording the Spider-Man one, and that should probably already be up on the channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at the PlayStation first-party versus third-party debate. And I do feel like we're going to repeat some things that I said in the State of PlayStation video because there's a lot of nonsense, going around online. Again, console warriors, I think, make it more important or make it more powerful than it really needs to be. And it really comes down to just how you, I'd say, define things. Now, you could say, well, Phil Spencer, all this jazz, that's just added to it. So, okay, well, what are we literally talking about? Well, there's no denying it. There's no, looking around it. When you look at PlayStation in 2024, first party. Now, the way I'm going to define it, at least for right now, explaining the story, is Sony owns the developer, okay? There is more to it, and in fact, that's not even the best definition, but we're going to talk, we're saying the Insomniacs of the world with Spider-Man, the Santa Monica's, God of War, Blue Point even, right? Those kind of studios. There's nothing. There's nothing in 2024, right? Factually, okay? Whether or not that actually is first person, we can talk about that. That is debatable, and I guess that's what has the internet all kind of crazy. And so what does Sony have this year? Well, they have a lot of support from not first party. Now, whether you want to call it second or third party has definitely made it, again, more muddy. I believe legally, we found out in the court case with Activision Blizzard that there really is no such thing as second-party games. They classify it as first and third. Whether or not you do it, that I always classify it as second party, right? So the game behind me, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, right? That, to me, at least growing up, I would have considered that a second-party game. It's from Square Enix. It's from a studio that Sony is not in ownership of. They don't own Final Fantasy. They don't own Square Enix. But Final Fantasy is exclusive to them for however long the game is going to be, right? And that's what 2024 is dominated by PlayStation, okay? Now, I'll be honest, where I'm at, I don't actually have that big of a problem with PlayStation, having this strategy, or probably not even having the strategy. More or less, the year Sony is having, PlayStation is having, is it a problem? I gotta be real. I don't really care all that much. Maybe I would have cared years ago. The older I've gotten, I care about games. I care about the games releasing. I don't care about where they necessarily come from. I say it time and time again, I'm not a console fanboy. And now I would say maybe years ago I would have said this for an Xbox or PlayStation. Xbox also did kind of have this problem just a few years back, right? It's taken a while to get to the point where you've had a lot of Xbox exclusive games. And you're still, we're in the era where we're about to get a bunch more. It kind of just started, right? So that is I guess it is factually true. And that's maybe the thing I want to throw in, right? When you look at the internet discussion of this, well, is it factually true that PlayStation doesn't have first-party games? Yeah, it's factually true. But does it mean anything? It depends on the person, I guess. For me, the way I look at it, and this is the way that I try to look at it and get excited, because I get excited about games because I'm not an NPC online that just tries to start fights with the other side, right? I just want games. I want good games. I want games constantly releasing. So for me, I look at 2024 and how I pitched it for PlayStation. I laid it all out for them, in the last video. I'm just kidding. Third party, Stellar Blade, Final Fantasy, all these games. Right? And I mean, those are two, but Death Stranding, you can keep going. These are games that you can rely on for this year, and they're going to do hopefully really well. I'm very excited for them. You can announce a lot of games that are coming out next year, and you could have the likes of Ghost of Tsushima 2 next year. We could see a new Uncharted. We could see Ben's new game. We could see Blue Point, what they're doing. Maybe Santa Monica with that space game that's rumored, right? Maybe you get that. Sony has a lot of first-party stuff happening, right? It's going to happen. I think it's just the way the years kind of games take a long time. Games take forever. Actually, they take too long. And because of that, you're going to have gap years. We talk about, is 2024 a filler year? Well, I'll tell you this, for sure, it's a filler year for PlayStation studios, first-party studios, because there's not much there. Because just the way the years are factored and maybe The Last of Us multiplayer would have come out in 2024. You don't know that because it's not out, but you could say it out loud, right? We know Helldivers 2, a live service game, Concord, things like that, right? There is stuff happening, but not from the first-party studios. So that is factually correct. You can have like a panic attack over it and you can attack each other on Twitter. Or what I would recommend is just, well, do you like any of the third-party games or second-party, whatever you want to call them, that are coming to PlayStation? Well, there are a lot of them. Actually, there's quite a few. Well, those games can help PlayStation, I think, factually, and they're also just games to get excited for. And then 2025 will probably be a pretty big year for PlayStation first-party studio. I don't know. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I really don't. And I think trying to play the definition, like I will say this, controversially, and this is like maybe the biggest jab I've taken at the fanboy community so far in this video. The reaching is pathetic. The reaching online of like going for Phil Spencer's tweets and saying, well, look, Phil Spencer basically confirmed now that all third-party games are first-party games. And it's like, you can read into these things. I don't know if he actually meant that back. Maybe that is. Maybe we've all been reading it wrong because Phil Spencer said back in 2014 how it all works, and we all missed it. But here's the thing. They don't listen to Phil Spencer on other things, so it's like, well, do you trust the guy or do you not? You're just cherry picking. You're just picking things that fulfill your side of the argument. That's, to me, the pathetic thing. Because, again, what it comes down to is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It matters about the games. It does matter in the sense that you want PlayStation to survive, right? Like, you don't want PlayStation to go bankrupt and have to, like, close off these studios. So, well, what does that depend on, right? Do you need 5 PlayStation games to come out in 2024 to save them? I don't know. Nobody knows. So, like, you know, there's not too much point into that, right? That's the only thing I can get to. Yeah, you might be rooted in Sony's best interests so they survive to make more games in the future. I get that. So is that going to be kind of a weaker thing on them this upcoming year? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to be doomsday. I also think people are kind of forgetting you're probably going to get something Spider-Man related, whether it's Venom or whether maybe it's multiplayer in Spider-Man 2. You're going to get something that I think Spider-Man kind of single-handedly carried 2023 for PlayStation, if people didn't know that. I mean, it had other stuff, but yeah, like Final Fantasy 16, well, that also wasn't them, right? The last couple years, it's been spaced out. Maybe a little too much so, but it's been spaced out. Sony has sold PS5s, and it hasn't seemingly in that department at least hurt them. It maybe has, and I mean, we've talked about the budgets as they're overspending from PlayStation. There's so much there. There's a lot of nuanced kind of conversations there, but at the end of the day, is it that big of a deal that 2024 is more dominated by third party for PlayStation than first? No. Like, it's just not. It's literally just how the years have kind of fallen, and I think if you like wiping that entire slate clean, if you just care about the games, I promise you it doesn't matter nearly as much. If all you think about is, oh, Stellar Blade looks awesome, oh, whatever game looks great, then that's it. Like that's literally all it is. You don't have to get so invested in the politics of, well, can we change the definition? Can second-party games suddenly become first? And maybe we can argue that PlayStation versus Xbox, PlayStation is going to have a great year. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't know. That's just how I view it. It's just, like, for me, Final Fantasy I'm excited for. Hellblade 2 I'm excited for. Both of them on my most anticipated list, I'm anticipating almost equally. So, I don't know. It just depends, I guess, on who you are. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.